This is He Knows the Sport, bringing you that heat and that fire. All right, I want to talk about the NBA free agency for 2018, all of the circus and the mumbo jumbo and the nonsense that's going on. Okay, let's talk. LeBron James. We all know the domino effect of him going to the Los Angeles Lakers, et cetera, et cetera. But the truth of the fact of the matter is, he's not really going to make an impact like you guys think he will. I know the LeBron apologists, all of these LeBron, what I call tards, all of these people that prescribe to the LeBron James, style of basketball, or dare I say it, the LeBron James cult. These people think that all of a sudden the next 4 years of him going to the Los Angeles Lakers is going to make a serious and a severe impact. The reality is it's not. Matter of fact, the Golden State Warriors did a slap and another slap to the face. I mean, they just went ahead and just uppercutted LeBron James by getting Demarcus Cousins. A lot of people around us at first were excited. They were like, man, the rich got richer. You like the Stephen A. Smiths of the world. Then, his hypocritical self came back and said, well, he's damaged goods because, he has an Achilles injury. Well, Stephen A., lest you forget, lest I have to remind you, unless I have to put you into a teaching moment. DeMarcus Cousins is not the way Kobe Bryant was. I know you tried to use the Kobe Bryant example on First Take, and you tried to say, well, Kobe didn't come back from Achilles heel. He was 90 pounds less. When you're talking about it from an anatomy standpoint and you're talking about it from a biology standpoint, yes, what you're saying makes sense. The law of physics, it fits, your theory. But what you fail to give to people, or like the term you like to use, excoriate into the facts, is that Kobe Bryant at that time was pushing, what, 34, 35, 36. DeMarcus Cousins, we're talking about a guy that's 27 years old, hasn't even entered into his prime. So we're talking about a guy that has 7, 8, 9 years on his side extra. Yes, he has 90 more pounds. Yes, he's a big man, but he still hasn't hit his prime yet. So his accelerated rate to heal himself is exponentially higher than a guy of Kobe Bryant, who was pretty much past his prime. And, any little ailment at that point of that magnitude was going to derail his career, as we saw. After 17 years, Kobe was done. 17 years, Kobe played basketball at the highest level, but that was his last year. That was his Vino year, the year 17. But once he ruptured the Achilles, he wasn't the same. We kind of knew that once he got hurt, there was no time for him to come back. Even though we all wanted to believe that if anybody could have done it, it was him. But Father Time is undefeated. Whereas DeMarcus Cousins is not racing against Father Time. He hasn't even entered his prime yet. So there is a very likely possibility that his upside can be a whole lot more beneficial on his end. So the Golden State Warriors picking up a guy like a DeMarcus Cousins was actually a great thing. And to be honest with you, I think they did that as a direct way to send a message to LeBron James that, hey, we're letting you know we're going to run the show. If we're going to run it for at least 2 more years, by getting a guy like this, we've secured it for 3 more years. The sad part, for the LeBron apologists and the LeBron James fans of the world, people that prescribe to his cult, because that's what it is. Ever since this guy's been in the league, that's what it's become. Because when you talk to LeBron James fans or LeBron James apologists, or anybody that prescribes to this LeBron James religion of basketball, no one wants to hear the truth. Everyone wants to be blind to the truth. Everyone wants to be ignorant to anything that you say that goes in opposition or direct opposition of this man. And that's just a well-known fact and a well-known truth. And it is what it is. But I'm just calling it like the way I see it. But the reality is, this guy thought by him going to the Lakers, I'm pretty sure, he was trying to assemble a super team. It didn't happen as fast as he wanted to. Of course, he's still trying to work behind the scenes. But bringing back a Chris Bosh, I mean, come on. Chris Bosh is damaged goods. The man got a serious health issue. You know, he got blood clots in his legs. What are you expecting this guy to do? The Miami Heat shut this guy down for a serious reason. Then you're gonna bring him back? I mean, come on. Chris Bosh, if he is Chris Bosh of 4 or 5 years ago, okay, maybe, because I'm not gonna lie, and I've said this before in past times, Chris Bosh was the most dangerous X factor, that the Miami had. He was actually the most dangerous player because he could stretch the floor, he could do the pick and pop, not the pick and roll, but the pick and pop, which the difference between the pick and roll is you pick and then you roll to the basket, whereas the pick and pop is you pick and then you pop to the spot that you want to shoot at. And Bosh was that guy that could pop to about 16 to 18 feet and he would just make it rain on you. He'd be making it wet all day on you, and that's what was so dangerous about him. Plus, he could put the ball on the floor. He can go to the left, he can go to the right. This guy was dangerous, at his prime. But you're not going to know what you're going to get from him. So yeah, I would, if I was a LeBron James, I get it. You do an experiment, bring a guy that you had previous success with, see what he can bring to the table. But it's a gamble at best. I don't think he's going to do what he's supposed to. Rajon Rondo, same thing with him. I think it's not a matter of damaged goods with Rajon Rondo. I think it's two liabilities that LeBron James have to deal with him. Yes, he comes with the experience. Yes, he comes with the know-how. Yes, he comes with the ability to say things to guys and to utter and give you that floor generalship, that floor, generalship that a point guard is supposed to give. And he's going to bring a certain level of assertiveness and a certain level of sense of urgency to the Los Angeles Lakers. So this is me giving Rajon Rondo the credit that he deserves. But you got to look at one of the liabilities this man has. He's a cancer wherever he goes because, case in point, ever since he left Boston, he hasn't been able to get along with his teammates. From the stint he had in the Chicago Bulls, when it was with Dwayne Wade and Jimmy Butler, to the stint with the Sacramento Kings, there was moments that him and Demarcus Cousins did not see eye to eye. He had issues with management. I mean, this guy, from team to team that he's gone, there's been some issue. When he was, his stint, everywhere he was at, this man has some kind of issue, some form, some shape, some fashion. So the reality is this, is him or LeBron James going to get into it? Because especially when LeBron has those moments, because we've seen it with the Miami Heat with Mario Chalmers, where he has to, supposedly spank the point guard or spank his teammates and kind of just pretty much put them out there and shide them, miserably in front of the whole media. When he does that stuff to Rajon Rondo or he does that on TV, how is a guy like Rajon Rondo that has the ego that Rajon Rondo has, how's he going to retaliate? That's the thing. See, this is why I don't know if that's going to work. Plus, Rajon Rondo, he's never been a great, shooter. So how's he going to help LeBron James stretch the floor? Because anybody that knows basketball knows that LeBron James, when he's playing on these over-glorified superstar teams, he needs guys that can stretch the floor and shoot the ball because it makes him look good. It makes him look like his assists are meaningful. I'm going to say it again. It makes his assists look like they're meaningful, when really he's not doing nothing special that any other player that passes the ball does. But again, like I said, you a LeBron apologist and you LeBron fans put him way over the top. When in actuality, when a guy has a 33% average in the finals, I don't know. On the pantheon of greatness, to me, that doesn't do it for me. And then the fact of the matter is he's not going to be making it to the finals anymore because now you got Golden State that's pretty much going to ensure that he's bounced out for the next 3 years easily. Kevin Durant's not going nowhere. Stephen Curry's not going nowhere. Klay Thompson's not going nowhere. Draymond Green's not going nowhere. And they got Demarcus Cousins, who's damn sure not going nowhere. So I'm sorry, man. They're not stopping that team. That's a five-headed superstar team. That's a five-headed juggernaut. How you going to stop that? Barring injuries, of course. But how you going to stop that? Now, the way that I saw that it was likely for LeBron James to be able to, cause problems and to give issues was if he had the likes of a Demarcus Cousins prior to the Golden State Warriors obtaining him. If he had Kawhi Leonard, he had a CP3 and a Paul George. Now, if he would have been able to obtain those guys, or let's say on another stretch, he was able to get Kawhi Leonard. If he wasn't able to get all of that, he was able to get, Paul George, and he was able to get an Anthony Davis. Or third option, he was able to get a Paul George, a Kawhi Leonard, and a DeAndre Jordan. If he was able to bring that together with the nucleus of what he has, and then let's say you add a Rajon Rondo, that would have been, and then that's in my third scenario, that would have been a team that would have been able to give Golden State Warriors fits. Why? Because basketball is all about matchups. You've heard me say this before. Kawhi would have been able to give Durant problems defensively because of Kawhi's elite defensive abilities and capabilities. LeBron would obviously be able to give anyone problems because of what he brings to the table, being a Mack truck offensively and being able just basically to bull himself as a 6'8", 270, 275 type of player. I know people want to say he's 260. I don't believe that. I think he's more about 270, 275. That's really what he's always been. But the reality is this. Then you would have had, a Paul George who really would have been able to go toe-to-toe in any scenario with a Klay Thompson because of what he brings offensively and his athleticism. And then you would have had CP3, which we saw last year, which was evident if that's the route they went, or Rajon Rondo. Those types of guys, because we saw Rajon Rondo do it with the Pelicans, those types of guys give Stephen Curry issues. They give him fits because Stephen Curry defensively is a liability. He doesn't play defense to the highest level. So if you got a point guard that can play to an elite level offensively, they can give him problems. So in that scenario, and let's say he would have had a Demarcus Cousins, and let's say the Warriors didn't have Demarcus Cousins, how's a Draymond Green, who is an undersized at best? Let's stretch it. They trying to say he's 6'7". He's really probably about 6'5", 6'6". How's a guy like that going to be able to guard the likes of a 7 to 7'1" Demarcus Cousins, almost pushing 300 pounds? That's not going to happen. See, now in that scenario, LeBron would have been able to have key players in key situations that would have been able to give the Warriors fits, but it didn't work out like that for him. And best case scenario, even if Kawhi Leonard pulls out, this year, and let's say he plays for the San Antonio Spurs one more year, even if he goes to the Lakers next year, you're still only going to have LeBron James and Kawhi Leonard. That's not enough. Like, you need more. The Golden State Warriors, to beat them, you're going to need exactly what they need, if not more, to beat them. Now, the second liability I wanted to talk about with Rajon Rondo is not only the cancer part of his floor generalmanship, it's also the second part of him, feeling that it's his way or the highway. Now, LeBron James, the type of player that he is, believe it or not, and I've said this before and I will say it again, he is the ultimate version of it is his way or the highway. Like, you can't play with a LeBron James and not expect that the ball is not going to be dominated towards him. You would think that now, him being 33 years old, this is going to be the last 5 years down the stretch of his career, he would change things. He's not. He's who he is, like Maya Angelou says, when somebody shows you who they are, believe them. LeBron James, you have to believe him because the player that he is extremely ball dominant. What that means is that, the ball has to be in his hands. This is why I don't think him and Rajon Rondo is going to work. And this goes to the second reason why I say Rajon Rondo is going to have problems with him, because they're going to bump heads. Because Rajon Rondo is a guy that has to have the ball in his hands. LeBron James is a guy that has to have the ball in his hands. How's that going to work? Obviously, the bigger star that has to have the ball in his hands, that's who everyone's going to cling to in that organization. Hence, this is why I don't think Rajon Rondo is going to work. Then you got Lance Stephenson. Lance Stephenson is just basically what you call a hybrid J.R. Smith. You're not going to know what you're going to get from this dude. One day he might come in and make it rain and drop 40 or 50 points on you, give you about maybe anywhere between 8 to 10 assists, give you about anywhere between 5 to 8 rebounds. And I'm talking about he might be able to have one of these types of games because he's capable of doing that. But the problem is key word, he might have these types of games, meaning he's not doing it on a consistent basis. So you're not going to know what you're getting. And I see him in the offseason, he's training his body. He's trying to get himself in the best possible condition and or the best possible shape in order for him to be able to be, a formidable player on the Lakers. He had a good run last year with the Indiana Pacers. I think that was a good fit for him with him and Victor Oladipo. And honestly, I think he had no pressure on him. He should have just stayed in that scenario. But the reality is, the Indiana Pacers made it clear they didn't want him no more. Obviously, they have an inside reason or inside track or why. Maybe they feel this guy's going to revert back to his, idiotic or idiosyncratic ways. I don't know. The reality is this: I don't think Lance Stephenson's going to make much of an impact. So you guys got to put in your head, these bandwagon Laker fans or these fans that are just coming out of the sewers and everywhere. The first year is going to be a wash. Because you got Golden State Warriors, they're not going nowhere. They're gonna whoop the Los Angeles Lakers. You got the Rockets. I don't see them going nowhere. They're gonna whoop the Lakers. So, at best, they're probably, and then you got the Utah Jazz. That team's making noise. If Utah Jazz can make the step in the right direction, the Rockets can continue to go where they left off, and let's say add a few more pieces, because clearly they show when they played against the Warriors they might need one or two more pieces. And the Warriors, obviously, this Demarcus Cousins experiment works at best. And this is being nice. This is giving LeBron James a gimme. The Los Angeles Lakers is the fourth best team in the West at best. But realistically, they're probably sixth or seventh best. So, because remember, now he's going to understand he's playing in the West. He's not playing in the Rudy Pool East, where he's able to make it to the finals because the East is not challenging. The East hasn't been challenging since the Jordan days. I'm sorry to say it. It's the truth. You know what? Let me be a little fair. The East was challenging when the Dwayne Wade and the Chris Bosh did not team up with LeBron James. That's probably the last time, because you had Dwayne Wade in Miami, you had Chris Bosh in Toronto, and you had LeBron James in Cleveland. That was probably the last time the East was entertaining from a basketball standpoint. But the reality is he's not in the Rudy Poo East no more. Now he's in the West. Now he's going to understand, like Meek Mill say, there's levels to this stuff. He's going to understand what Kobe had to deal with, and why people need to put respect on that boy's name when they sit here and they try to say, well, he only got 5 titles and 2 finals MVPs. You got to see the odds that Kobe had to deal with in the West. You guys have to understand. And here's the other thing, too. LeBron James is going to get chided by Kobe Bryant, because the last great superstar of the Los Angeles Lakers was Kobe Bean Damn Bryant. That's right. I'm going to say it again. Kobe Damn Bean Bryant, because that boy deserves respect on his name, man. You guys don't put respect on his name. The man is the second greatest basketball player after Michael Jordan. He deserves that title. He's earned it. He's earned that right. Because we're sitting here talking, if Kobe did not lose the 2 finals that he lost, he'd be sitting at 7 titles and 4 finals MVPs. But of course, that's a coulda, woulda, shoulda. But still, his career still ended up 5 for 2. The man has done a lot. So put respect on this man's name. Stop being disrespectful, and watch how in his session of the details on ESPN, how he's gonna rip LeBron James apart if LeBron James don't bring a championship to the Los Angeles Lakers. Do I see him bringing one? From my prediction and my standpoint, no. These last 4 years is just for this man to make his $38+ million every year, being a Los Angeles Laker, fill the seats, bring some kind of relevancy to the Lakers, but it's not the relevancy that true Laker fans and people that are in Los Angeles that have always gone for the Lakers have known and been accustomed to, which is bringing titles to the purple and gold. That's not happening. Not with that Golden State Warriors team being there. Listen, man, don't be surprised if Kevin Durant gets 3 more finals and 3 more finals MVPs. I'm just putting that out there because that's just a strong possibility and a strong reality. You guys need to prepare your mind for this, because this is what's about to happen. This is He Knows His Sport. Check it out.